Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. India to get 8 cheetahs from Botswana. President Draupadi Murmu thanks her counterpart Duma Gideon Boko. Prime Minister Modi visits LNJP Hospital in New Delhi, meets blast victims, reiterates his promise to bring conspirators to justice. US President Donald Trump urges his Israeli counterpart President Herzog to pardon Netanyahu of corruption charges. President Draupadi Murmu reaffirmed commitment to deepen bilateral cooperation across trade, education and technology in her meeting with President of Botswana, Duma Boko, at the presidential office in Gaborone. President Murmu held bilateral talks with her counterpart, Duma Boko, in Botswana on her 3-day visit to the country. This is the first state visit that Botswana president is hosting after coming to power last year. Both the leaders expressed solidarity and cooperation between India and Botswana. The President of India said that the two countries will engage in further cooperation in areas like health and pharmaceuticals.
I conveyed to President Boko India's firm commitment to working closely with Botswana to further deepen our ties, as well as India's commitment to expanding its partnership with the African region, including within the framework of India-Africa Forum Summit.
And President of India Draupadi Murmu visited the office of the Diamond Trading Company in Gaborone, Botswana. She was given a presentation on the diamond mining and the diamond industry in Botswana. The President also said, in fact, had a look at the different kinds of diamonds, its sorting and polishing mechanism at the Diamond Trading Company or DTC in Gaborone. The President was given a tour of the facility of DTC by the Minister for Minerals and Energy of Botswana, Bogolo Kenavondo. And 3 years after the launch of Project Cheetah, India is set to receive 8 new cheetahs from Botswana. President Murmu thanked her counterpart Duma Boko for donating the cheetahs, marking a new chapter in India-Botswana cooperation.
3 years after the launch of the Project Cheetah, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visionary initiative to bring back the world's fastest land animal to India, the project now enters its next phase. India is set to welcome 8 new cheetahs from Botswana, a country that stands as one of the last strongholds of the species in the wild. In a moment rich with symbolism and friendship, President Draupadi Murmu, during her state visit to Botswana, will formally receive the cheetahs from President Duma Gideon Boko on November 14, 2025. Botswana was chosen for this next chapter because it, along with Namibia, shelters more than half of the southern Africa's cheetah population, making it vital for ensuring genetic diversity and long-term success of India's reintroduced cheetah population. The mission was a remarkable display of international teamwork. A high-level delegation from Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Government of India, led by Director General of Forest and Special Secretary Sushil Kumar Awasthi, visited Botswana in September 2025. The field team, led by wildlife veterinarians Dr. Eric Vernian of Wild Assist Africa, Botswana, and Dr. Sanat Mulia, nodal veterinarian from Project Cheetah, NTCA, working closely with Botswana wildlife officials, expert trackers from private ranchers and researchers from Cheetah Conservation Botswana. Together, they formed a cohesive unit operating across vast stretches of savanna. Expert veterinarians and wildlife officials from both nations spent weeks tracking, darting and safely capturing cheetahs from the vast savannas of the Ganzi district. This moment marks more than a conservative milestone. It's a powerful reflection of India and Botswana's shared commitment to wildlife protection and ecological restoration. Together, they are writing a new chapter in the global story of cheetah's return to the wild. Taposh Bhattacharya's report, TD India.
Moving on, Prime Minister Modi today visited LNJP Hospital in Delhi to meet those injured in the recent blast incident. PM interacted with the victims and their families, inquired about their treatment and conveyed his heartfelt prayers for their swift and complete recovery. Expressing deep concern over the incident, the Prime Minister reaffirmed the government's commitment to ensure justice. In a post on X, PM Modi said, and I quote him here, "Went to LNJP Hospital and met those injured during the blast in Delhi, praying for everyone's quick recovery. Those behind the conspiracy will be brought to justice." And in a latest in Delhi car blast, the Delhi police has sounded an alert across all police stations, posts and border checkpoints in the national capital to trace a red Ford EcoSport car. The alert was issued after the investigation revealed that other suspects already connected to the Hyundai i20 used in the explosion were also in possession of another red-coloured car. At least 5 teams of Delhi police have been deployed to locate the vehicle, while neighbouring Uttar Pradesh and Haryana police have also been alerted to maintain heightened vigilance and assist in the search. Meanwhile, the National Investigation Agency, NIA, the investigation of NIA has intensified. The team visited the blast scene and again checked the vehicles that were parked near Red Fort at the time of the blast. NIA officials they're also inquiring about their owners as to how long the vehicles were parked there and whether these vehicles also had any role in the blast. And Prime Minister Modi concluded the 2-day state visit to Bhutan. The visit marked many important milestones in civilizational ties and development partnership between the two nations. DD India correspondent Shubhendu Ghosh puts the historic visit in perspective.
On day 2 of his state visit to Bhutan, Prime Minister Narendra Modi held talks with the 4th Druk Gyalpo Jigme Singye Wangchuk. The leaders discussed cooperation in energy, trade, technology and connectivity. PM appreciated the extensive efforts of the former king over the years towards further cementing India-Bhutan ties and lauded the progress in the Gelapu Mindfulness City project, which aligns with India's Act East policy. Later in the day, the Prime Minister joined the King of Bhutan, Jigme Kesar Namgyal Wangchuk, the royal family and PM Shering Tobge for the ongoing Global Peace Prayer Festival at the Changli Mithang Stadium in Thimphu. Amidst Buddhist chants and spiritual atmosphere, PM participated in the Kala Chakra initiation ceremony. The Kala Chakra empowerment is a sacred Buddhist ceremony that carries a universal message of peace, compassion and harmony. It promotes the belief that world peace arises from individual inner peace, and thus the empowerment serves as a reminder of the shared responsibility to foster understanding and coexistence among all beings. Thousands of Buddhist monks and followers from Bhutan and the world had gathered at the stadium for the ceremony. Before concluding his visit, PM Modi stopped to greet and engage with Buddhist monks at the venue. Early on Tuesday, giving a boost to development cooperation between the two neighbors, Prime Minister Modi, along with the King of Bhutan, inaugurated the 1,020-megawatt Punat Sangchu 2 hydroelectric project developed jointly by India and Bhutan. The leaders witnessed exchange of MOUs in the fields of renewable energy and healthcare. Government of India also announced a concessional line of credit of INR 4,000 crores for Bhutan to fund energy projects. India is providing land in Varanasi for building a Bhutanese temple, monastery and guest house. The two sides underlined the importance of improving cross-border connectivity and infrastructure through integrated checkposts and cross-border rail links. In Thimphu, Prime Minister Narendra Modi also addressed an event to mark the 70th birth anniversary of the 4th King of Bhutan. The Prime Minister was on a 2-day state visit to the Himalayan kingdom from the 11th to the 12th of November.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Bhutan marked an important milestone in the relations between the close neighbors. While the modern development partnership was taken forward, it also energized the civilizational and spiritual connection, sending out a message of peace and solidarity. With camera person Senthil, Shubhendu Ghosh for DT India in Thimphu.
And India has taken great strides in indigenous defence production, but there is still a long way to go as the country is still one of the largest importer of weapons. Speaking at Delhi Defence Dialogue, Secretary Defence Production Sanjeev Kumar deliberated on self-reliance in the new age technology. DD India correspondent Vishal Barrister finds out more.
Self-reliance in the new age technology, and I have with me Secretary Defence Production Sanjeev Kumar. Let's talk to him and find out. Sir, there has been a great change since 1 decade, but still India is the largest importer of weapons. So in the ever-changing technology, how do you see things?
So new age technology give us a much better chance for quick coming to the pace with the rest of the world, because we have a large pool of engineers, software experts, and also traditionally we have been very good in mathematics and creating algorithm. Our prowess in this type of activity is well known, and new age technology is also coming from the most of the time, or let's say to large extent, from the civilian domain, and there our engineers, our experts have done a good job. So I'm sure we would be able to catch up fast and become self-reliant in US technology faster than.
So the Prime Minister said that self-reliance, by self-reliance we mean that we should be master of our destiny, and we've seen how successful Op Sindoor was. So taking a cue from that, what is the way forward as far as defence production is concerned?
In defence production, our role is very clear. We have to encourage production, not only production by Indian companies, but also creating the systems, equipment, weapons which are designed and developed by our own Indian companies, so that then all know-how, know-why remains with us and we can use in the manner in which we want.
So there you heard Secretary Defence Production. He says that there are still gaps and private sector has a great chance to fill in those gaps. With cameraman SP Dubey in Delhi, this is Vishal Barrister for DD India.
All right, still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Turkey says military plane crash in Georgia killed all 20 on board. Foreseeing a potential end to the shutdown, US Supreme Court extends the freeze on the SNAP food program in November.
I have been a strong critic of British colonialism, but I don't personally believe that we can blame everything on the British anymore. Kerala, in 1957, elected a communist government, the first ever democratically elected communist government anywhere in the world.
Can the Kerala model be implemented in other Indian states as well?
Very good question to which I can't give you a simple answer.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Some more stories. A 51-year-old doctor from Saudi Arabia, Talib A, went on trial in Germany earlier this week. He was accused of ramming his highly motorized rental car into visitors of Magdeburg's Christmas market last December, killing 6 and injuring 344. According to a court spokesperson, Talib A could face the maximum penalty under German law. That would be life imprisonment, in addition to a finding of particular severity of guilt and possibly subsequent preventive detention. And DW correspondent Hans Brandt from Berlin has more. Hi Hans, what more do we know about the accused and his motives for the attack?
Well, yes, as you said, he was a doctor. He is a doctor from Saudi Arabia who came to Germany to specialize as a psychiatrist. And in fact, he worked as a psychiatrist in prisons for many years. He was fairly well known in certain sectors of German society, amongst refugee organizations, for instance, because he He was helping refugees, especially from Saudi Arabia and other countries on the Arab Peninsula who came to Germany. And he also had a very prominent social media profile. But he was also known as somebody who was difficult, who was a troublemaker. He got into disputes with the authorities. There were some meetings with the police occasionally, and also court cases involving some of the refugee agencies that he was in contact with. And he has in fact been speaking in court for hours and hours on end and explained that he had planned this attack for more than a year, and that his motivation had to do with his dissatisfaction about how the German authorities took his complaints about various matters and about his interaction with refugee agencies.
Also, Hans, if you could tell us what can we expect from the trial?
Yes, the trial has just been started recently. It is to be expected that the accused will continue talking for many, many hours. It seems that he wants to give a comprehensive statement, although what he has been saying so far has been pretty difficult to understand and at times quite confused. And there have been some skirmishes with the judge who has been telling the accused what he can say and how much he can say and what is allowed in court, what is not allowed in court. It's a court case that is one of the biggest in Germany since the end of the Second World War, because it involves so many people that were affected by this terrible action. There are almost 200 co-complainants, and a special courtroom had to be built for all of them to be accommodated. It's likely to go on for many, many months, probably well into next year. But it's almost certain that the accused will be found guilty and will be sentenced to life imprisonment as well as security detention because of the severity of that case.
All right, Hans, also Christmas is just a few weeks away now and markets are set to open soon. Is there concern that they could be targeted again?
Yes, indeed. There's always been concern on Christmas markets, especially since an attack here in Berlin in 2016 with a truck that drove into a Christmas market and killed more than a dozen people. Since then, security at such markets has been increased by order of the authorities. But obviously this market in Magdeburg, just over almost a year ago, the security was lacking because that person was able to drive his car into that market and more than 300 people were affected, were injured, and some of them killed. This year, the concern is that security could indeed again be an issue. The market in Magdeburg itself has not, in fact, yet been given permission to reopen this year because authorities still have doubts about whether security can be increased enough. But in the city, people there want the market to take place this year, also as a sign against this attacker, as a sign that they want to continue celebrating this occasion. So yes, security at Christmas markets will be an issue this year.
All right, Hans Brandt, we'll leave it at that. Thank you for your inputs. Moving on, US President Donald Trump urged Israeli President Isaac Herzog to consider granting a pardon to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Herzog's office on Wednesday said it received a letter from Trump. Netanyahu has been facing a long-running corruption trial, and Trump has repeatedly asked for a pardon for his close ally. Netanyahu denies the charges and has pleaded not guilty. The office said that anyone seeking a presidential pardon must submit a formal request in accordance with the established procedures. During Trump's visit to Israel in October, he had also urged Herzog to pardon the Prime Minister in an address to Parliament in Jerusalem. And US House of Representatives is expected to vote on Wednesday on a Senate-passed funding bill to reopen the government. The final legislation extends funding for most agencies until January 30th, while including 3 full-year funding bills for some parts of the government. House Republicans are confident that the package will clear the lower chamber. President Donald Trump is expected to sign it into law. The Senate approved the deal on Monday night, and House Speaker Mike Johnson has said he expects it to pass his chamber as well. Meanwhile, members of the House of Representatives headed back to Washington on Tuesday after a 53-day break, braving the congestion at the nation's tangled airports for a vote that could bring the longest U.S. government shutdown in history to a close. The Kremlin on Wednesday said that there had been contact between Britain's National Security Advisor Jonathan Powell and Kremlin Foreign Policy aide Yuri Ushakov, but said that the dialogue did not work out. The statement came out after media reports emerged that Powell had tried to open up a back channel to the Kremlin because Britain and its European allies feared the administration of US President Donald Trump could sideline their interest over Ukraine. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said that Britain had shown no desire to listen to Russia's position on the Ukraine conflict. And Russia is ready to resume peace negotiations with Ukraine in Istanbul. Russian state news agency TASS cited a foreign ministry official as saying on Wednesday. Russia and Ukraine have had multiple rounds of talks in Istanbul, but those talks did not lead to any breakthrough. Ukrainian side proposed a meeting in August between President Volodymyr Zelensky and Russian President Vladimir Putin. The Kremlin subsequently said Putin was willing to meet Zelensky, but only in Moscow, a condition rejected by Kiev. Yet no meeting has been scheduled since the last meeting in July. Now, Cambodia and Thailand traded accusations of fresh clashes along their border on Wednesday after Bangkok said it was pausing the implementation of a US-backed peace deal, claiming a blast from a newly laid landmine had wounded 4 of its soldiers. Cambodian Information Minister Neth Phieketra said that Thai soldiers opened fire, wounding at least 5 in Bente Menchai province, citing a toll from local authorities. The deputy spokesperson of the Royal Thai Army told reporters that soldiers heard small arms fire from the Cambodian side around 4 p.m., which is 900 GMT, but did not return fire. Now, Georgian Interior Minister Jela Geladze said on Wednesday that 18 bodies had been found at the crash site of Turkish C-130 military cargo plane, adding that 2 of the bodies had not yet been found. A Turkish military cargo plane crashed at the Georgia-Azerbaijan border, killing all 20 of its soldiers aboard, says Turkish Defense Ministry. The plane, manufactured by US defense giant Lockheed Martin, reportedly spun out of control before hitting the ground and bursting into flames. Now, Argentina's consumer price index slightly rose 2.2% in the 10th month of the year, marking 2 consecutive months of increases after August plus 1.9% and September's plus 2.1%. Analysts said the categories with the biggest increases in October were miscellaneous goods and services and entertainment. Argentina held midterm elections at the end of October, where President Javier Milei's Liberal Party prevailed and increased its presence in Congress, boosting its chances of implementing desired reforms. Argentina's National Institute of Statistics and Censuses will release the official October CPI figure on Wednesday at 1900 GMT. Well, let's now take a look at other stories making news around the world. Cape Town's youth-led Langa Bicycle Hub is showing how cycling can cut emissions and promote inclusion. Founded during COVID-19 pandemic, the hub trains young people in bike repair, offer lessons and guided tours, and supports over 1,000 households each year while addressing apartheid-era spatial inequalities. Christmas fever is taking over the mood as shopping malls across Hong Kong unveil dazzling festive displays and immersive light shows to attract holiday shoppers. Giant Christmas trees, sparkling ornaments and themed installations are transforming malls into winter wonderlands, drawing families, tourists and selfie takers eager to soak in the city's holiday spirit. And the Giza Pyramids are hosting the 5th edition of the Forever is Now art exhibition, showcasing contemporary installation from artists around the world. Set against the iconic ancient backdrop, the exhibition blends modern creativity with Egypt's rich heritage, celebrating the dialogue between past and present through thought-provoking artworks. Well, in sports now, India clinched 2 more silver medals at the Shooting World Championship in Egypt. Pair of Samrat Rana and Isha Singh won silver medals in the 10-meter air pistol mixed team shooting event. The Indian duo topped the qualification standings and set up a gold medal match against China. However, they had to settle for second best in the medal match as they lost 16 points to 10. Meanwhile, Aishwarya Pratap Singh Tomar won silver medals in the men's 50-meter rifle 3 positions event. Earlier in the day, he equaled the qualification world record. The 2 medals took India's overall tally to 11, including 3 gold, 5 silver and 3 bronze medals. Only China, with 14 medals, is ahead in the standings. Well, that's all we have in this edition of DD India Live. But do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. From all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.